under the wide and starry sky. Dig the grave and let me lie.
Amicia, come!
Hugo, I'm right behind you!
Glad did I live, and gladly die. And I laid me down with a will.
Impossible.
This be the verse you grave for me.
Come on, you've seen worse than this.
Here he lies, where he longed to be. Home is the sailor, home from sea, and the hunter, home from the hill.
I don't know what's happening to me, Lucas. I feel my mind going.
I know. Think of your brother. We have to carry on.
Oh no. What have you done?
It is finally coming. I have been so excited for this game. Now, I made a video quite some while ago talking about one of the most underrated and most beautiful medieval games on the market, and that was A Plague Tale Innocent. It is a brilliant single-player story-driven campaign, dark and gritty, taking you into that medieval world during the plague, mostly based on stealth and planning, using your basic and limited experience and tools that you have in your roster to try and get you and your brother to safety. Now, whilst I say it is underrated, the first Plague Tale was received amazingly. It was so positive, and of course, obviously, it did well enough to warrant a second one, and my god, does this sequel live up to what I was hoping that it would be. Recently at the Game Awards, we saw a plethora of new games, new trailers, and new announcements, and this was the one that I was waiting for. Don't get me wrong, we heard about it before. Over a year ago, we knew that this was coming, but now we've seen some actual proper gameplay. The hype is real. But if you don't know, A Plague Tale Innocence was a kind of a one-off IP. At least that's what it felt like when it started. It was a brilliant first game. The story was exciting, and my god, was it incredibly intense. Hiding from guards, sneaking around rat-infested streets at night, the world building of this dark and horrific plague-ridden city juxtaposed with that small light and hope in the form of your younger brother Hugo, innocence in human form, and the camaraderie between the two characters was so well executed. Judging by a lot of the reviews, when the first game came out, there was kind of a lot of skepticism around it. You see, we've had games like this in the past, you as a character looking after your younger brother or sibling or whatever, almost having to pull them through the world and almost like a burden that takes away from gameplay. But in fact, after people played it, they realized that it was played off so well. It worked brilliantly for the type of game that they were going for, and I really don't think A Plague Tale Innocence would have been as successful without that mechanic. Most of all, I loved that unique take, something that we don't normally look into in the medieval setting and focusing on a story-driven campaign. This is why I'm very excited for this next game, because it's kind of rare at this point. This, along with the next Hellblade, is so refreshing to see confidence back from game developers, not just focusing on free-to-play multiplayer garbage, but actual high-quality, premium story-driven campaigns that focus on immersion, world building, and following characters that you actually know and care about. So we get it. The first game, criminally underrated. It obviously did enough to warrant a sequel, so hopefully this game is going to bring up some more fanfare. So what is the sequel about? Well, of course, it's called A Plague Tale Requiem, still focused on that medieval world based in plague-ridden Europe. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers about the first one, but obviously the two got out alive and they managed to escape to somewhere else. There's also some more fantastical elements of this game that, once again, I don't really want to give away, but let's just say Hugo isn't your normal type of small child. The backstory of A Plague Tale Requiem is following on exactly from where we left off last time. After escaping their devastated homeland, you and your brother Hugo travel far south to new regions and vibrant cities. There, they attempt to start a new life and control Hugo's curse. Once again, you'll be using a variety of tools to sneak around guards, find your way through levels, but now with more experience, do a bit more fighting, unleashing hell and control the rats to the best of your abilities. The best part of this game is how dark it is, yet I think the second one with Requiem is kind of looking to focus more on building a much more vibrant world, going a bit further away from plague-ridden cities and trying to expand a bit more into the medieval setting. And yet I really hope that they keep those dark and terrifying undertones, because the first was horrific. It wasn't your typical horror with jump scares every left, right, and center. Yet the setting and the world that they built almost made it like a horror thriller. Now, don't get me wrong, I love big battles. I love knights and armies, sieging castles, and I think that's some of the medieval period at its best when we see it in films and games and the like. But this medieval period that we keep coming back to and that a lot of this channel is based around has so much more to offer than your Mount and Blades and Chivalry 2s. What about true in-depth character stories like this? You know, we get Red Dead Redemption or The Witcher, but we've never really had a realistic medieval game based around these stories of characters that we got in A Plague Tale Innocence. So I'm so happy that we're coming back to it, and in a much bigger scale. This looks like they're going to go much further with the mechanics that they perfected last time, of course using your slingshot to distract people, using those stealth mechanics that we've seen in the past, and of course using the amount of rats to your advantage. You know, when you can set them on a guard and they get eaten alive, it's always a beautiful sight to see. Currently there is no release date for the game, however, but it will be in 2022. That kind of felt like the gist of what we're getting in the Game Awards. It's coming, but we can't give you an exact date. Overall, I am very excited for A Plague Tale Requiem. I think it really is the next step, and hopefully it does just as well, if not better, as the first one, because I really want to see more games like this. I want to see more character-driven linear stories that tell these amazing tales set in a more gritty and realistic medieval world. Okay, this has some fantastical elements, but the core feeling and mechanic of it is grounded in so much dark reality that I absolutely adore it. But please, let me know what you think. Are you excited for A Plague Tale Requiem, and what do you hope they improve on over the first? If you haven't played the first already, definitely go and check it out if you're into great stories and great characters and, well, medieval settings, because you'll get a lot of that. So please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, leave a dislike if you didn't, but leave a comment on your thoughts down below. And until then, I will see you in the next one.